I'm Zahra, native Washingtonian, and I basically work with young dancers. And well, my focus is helping dancers through wellness and natural resources. At the age of 7 or 8, I was diagnosed with obsessive compulsive personality disorder. In 2003, 2004, I was diagnosed, in addition to, I was diagnosed with schizoid affective disorder and depression. When I was younger, I was already being tested with an IQ. My mom wasn't sure what was going on, and the fact that I was doing things differently, I was picking up foreign languages, mixing it together, so linguistically I was already seeing a speech therapist, and the speech therapist kind of picked up on a few things of my behaviors, that I would write out the words in one language and speak it in another. And as I was doing that, notice how I was reorganizing the room, or how I would do a different thing, and it had to be a particular way and at a particular time. And that's when they said, okay, we think we should have her checked out, as we're picking up a couple of patterns. Not saying it's a good thing, not saying it's a bad thing, but we wanted to see what that was about. So then the whole thing of, well, maybe she has OCD came up, and then the doctor said this is a little bit more than just a OCD where, you know, my food wouldn't touch. I had a thing about my food could not touch. If the sink was wet, it freaked me out. I cannot stand walking on wet grass. Couldn't explain that. I still to this day can't explain it. It freaks me out. But they knew that was just not really normal. So at that time, I didn't know. He just said, hey, remember OCD or OCPD? I was like, okay. I didn't know. But as I got older and I kept remembering it, I was like, oh, this is what I have? Oh, okay. And then in 2003, 2004, I was angry. I had inner anger. I didn't understand it. I didn't understand what was going on. So I did go speak to another therapist, and that's when she said, okay, what's going on in your family? Let's talk about that. And I did express that there was mental health illness in my family. And like one of my uncles was full-blown schizophrenic. So that's when I learned that there was a chance that the next generation, my line, somebody would have something, and I didn't know what it was. So that's when she told me that I definitely had schizophrenic affective disorder. And that's basically not technically a full-blown schizophrenic, but there's just these weird, angry patterns that just would happen. And I was put on medication for that. Whew, that medication was not a best friend whatsoever. It kept me down. My energy was low. Any thoughts or what I thought was going on up here was quiet, but I would keep hearing a whisper of, this is not right, this is not you, this is not right, this is not you. Let's end it, let's end it. And yes, it was a side effect, you know, to read the back, to got the little words on there, and it's like, oh. And that's when I learned more about what suicide was about. I didn't know what that was. I said, oh, that's a side effect. Why is this a side effect? I don't like this, because those are the thoughts I was having. And being someone who would have angry spurts, and I didn't want to harm my family, I didn't want to harm a stranger, I didn't want to harm a child, I said I had to fix it. In order for me to fix it and not have that feeling of being so squished in the dark, so to speak, being cloudy, not caring, very down, I took a brave step and took myself off the medication. Very, very scary to do, because if you're off, if you kind of, what they say, nuts, so to speak, you're supposed to be on medication to keep you calm so the rest of society can move around. That wasn't the case. I felt like I was okay. I just had to find another way, so I took myself off the medication. I've been doing a lot of reading on how to heal myself more naturally, and step one was to find another outlet, find another creative way to get it all out. So when I told my doctor I don't want to take this medication anymore, she wasn't that happy, she wasn't that thrilled. And she said, well, there's ways to do it. I would like to continue talking with you. And the other sad thing about when you're diagnosed with a mental illness, and if you don't have that health insurance, if you do have that health insurance, that costs kick in. So financially, I couldn't continue. I was not in a place, still not in a place, where I can just go and sit and talk to someone and spit out $250 or whatever, just to talk to someone. I didn't have that. So I said, no, I'm gonna find a way to do it. And luckily I found something that was much more of a positive thing for me to rechannel. I learned about rechanneling that energy into something else, which is a beautiful thing. So it definitely taught me I'm gonna be okay. Luckily, rechanneling my energy as an artist, dance artist, that helped a lot. It's very therapeutic. When you're dancing, you're teaching dance, you're choreographing, you're coming up with all these creative things. You can use your own experience and put it into movement. It kind of helps get it out. It definitely helps to get it out, and I enjoy it. I don't think I'm going to ever stop. When you're an artist, that's not going to stop. If you're a true artist, you're not really going to stop and put it to you like that. And that helped me, being able to refocus, rechannel that energy. Like, I'm a little nervous, I'm a little anxious, let me figure this out. And helping others, that helped me. You know, it really helps me a lot. And then when I see others who are dealing with a lot of things that's very traumatic and they don't know how to deal with the aftermath, and being there for them, it's just wonderful. It's a beautiful thing. And I love that because no one was really there for me. So one of the things I had to learn when I had to rechannel my energy to help heal myself, the thing I came up with is sometimes you have to be your own hero. Sometimes you have to be that mentor you've always wanted in your life. So that's why I love doing what I do. I love helping others, because I can go home and I don't get a hug. You know, I don't get that kiss on the forehead. I don't get that pat on the head, pat on the back, that high five. I just go home. That's it. But it makes me feel good that to someone else I helped them out. They feel good when they go to bed. Or they say, okay, I thought about what you said. Maybe I can try this approach or that approach, but thank you, you helped me out a lot. That makes me feel good. So whenever I am able to help someone else out, that's my hug. That's how I see it now. That's my hug. That helps me out so much. So when people are like, okay, you want to sit down on the bus or speak up for an elderly person who's being disrespected by a younger person, that's my hug, that's my tribute, you know. But they don't know that. They don't know why I do it. I just do it. It just feels that good to me. So. That stigma of mental health within the family. My family, I don't want to say it's typical, but I've noticed that, okay, this person is a little off, this person has some issues, so let's just push this person down in the basement or in the attic or in the bedroom, down the hall. let the person know when food is ready. Come get your food. If you want to sit at the table, you can. If not, go on, back to your room, or, go sit outside. If you want to go for a walk, go ahead and do all those things. So it's okay. It's nothing wrong with that. But for me, it just felt more like abandonment. There's something about within the Black community, honestly, I've always felt like since no one really knew or understand how to deal with anyone, it's just easier to just push that person to the side. Oh, it's okay. That's just how it's been for generations down. So when I told my family what I was diagnosed with, oh, really? Oh, okay. So what are you going to do about that? How do you get rid of it? Kind of can't get rid of it. You can just make it more dormant, so to speak. You can have it more under control. Or in my case, what I discovered, how to use it to make you a better person, how to use what you're diagnosed with to make you just, like I said, my own hero. So it's been difficult, that abandonment feeling. At times, it hurts, it's scary, and it's kind of like, I don't know how else to deal with it, but I just deal with it and roll with the punches. And somehow it makes me stronger. A lot of people say, oh, she's strong, don't worry about it, she's good. It's okay to ask me, how's your day? Because I go and help support everyone else, but it's nice to just have someone ask you, hey, what's going on? Are you all right? You good? I'm just making sure, and to help others. Because I notice my family would sometimes help others, and they'll look at me and get mad. Well, why would you go help her? Because of X, Y, Z, because you didn't help her. I know that feeling of having somebody walk past, and I just felt that. I know that feeling. I don't like that feeling with another human being. So let me just do what I can. And it's strange. I'm not saying my family's bad. I'm not saying that at all. I just feel like they don't know how to deal with someone with a mental illness or depression. They don't know how, because it's taboo to be around someone or, in that matter, and accept the fact, oh, this is in my family. My advice to someone who's dealing with someone who has depression, don't give up on them. It's difficult. Please don't. Don't give up on them. Try to hone in on those little things that make that person happy. Hone in onto that. You have no idea. That person may not seem like they're appreciative of what you're doing and what you're thinking and what you're saying, but they do. The feeling of abandonment is very heavy, it's very scary. They don't want that, you don't want that. So if you don't know how to reach out to that person, ask them. If they say, I don't know what it is I want right now, just sit with them. Just simply being there sometimes is just enough. If you want to watch a little TV, watch a little TV. What do you feel like looking at? Okay, let's watch that together. You may not like the movie, but you're there with that person. You're just there with that person. It's very difficult to be around people and still feel lonely and still feel alienated. It's a horrible feeling. So help that person out. Still be there. Just still ask. And my advice to those who are dealing with someone or a loved one or a friend, a co-worker, someone at church, someone in the neighborhood that has a mental illness, don't deflect it. Yes, recognize it. Know the person have the isms. The person's kind of going off. You know how not to add or be a trigger for that. But do recognize it. Stop being in denial. Stop this, oh, that person need to go take medication. That may not be the case. There's something traumatized that person, something is off, yes. But still recognize that person. You can still just say hi. You may snap them out. Bring them back to reality. you know, you just have to do that. Sometimes I have to do that with my own relatives, like, hey, come on back down, by the way, da-da-da, oh my gosh, you know, are you cooking something? Is it burning on the stove? So bring them back. Sometimes all they need is someone to bring them back, that's it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I tried.